Hi, Monaco64 here, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. I'm going to talk about the bond market live stream, bond market alert, and I'll take other questions about the rest of the markets. Markets are moving quite a bit today, especially the stock market, precious metals. Am I concerned about the drop in precious metals? No, I'm not. And I want to talk about as well about Bill Gross, who's like the bond guru. He's a billionaire. He's run billions, maybe hundreds of billions of funds in the bond market. I'll talk about Jamie Dimon as well. Hi, Havazalet Capital. How are you today? Nice to see you. I see I got 43 people already. Please ask any questions you'd like. I'm glad gold and silver dropping. Buy opportunity. These nuts saying, good afternoon, Mario. Hope you're well. Yeah, Chris Varga. Hi, Chris. I am. Al Cubes. Hello, mate. Hi, Al Cubes. El Tomo. Good evening, Mario. Good evening, El Tomo, or afternoon if you're in the US. So I did my video this morning, and then I went to walk Billy. Took him for a walk. And it was so nice that I decided to play golf this morning. Started around 11, finished around 3. Yeah, it was a really good day to play golf. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about the bond market. I did entitled this live stream the bond market alert. And why is it an alert? Well, bond yields are at more than 4.5-year highs. So right now, the 10-year yield is at 3.08%. And that's very significant. And it's up 8 basis points today. The 2-year is only up 3. So why is the bond market important? Well, because it's the price of money, and the 10-year yield is considered the risk-free rate of return. And all other assets, be them stocks, derivatives, even commodities, they're all priced, or corporate bonds, they're all priced off the bond market. So let's have a look here. Armando Sal Moreno, good afternoon from Dallas, Texas. Good afternoon, Armando. Zeravan, hi from Jakarta, Indonesia. Hi, Zeravan. Luis Cueva, how's it going? Fine, thanks. Yeah, Billy was asleep, actually. So he was on the floor, and I told him to move up to the sofa, and he's just fallen asleep. Yeah, the 10-year yield is 308. So I think this is important. I've been following the bond markets since I started my videos back in the end of 2015, 2016. And I've always said, it's looking dangerous, but I also said I would warn people if I saw something unusual. And today I'm seeing something unusual. We didn't really have important data today. We had retail sales. I think it was weaker than expected, but bond yields spiked on that number. And I noticed that gold also dropped at the same time as bonds were dropping. And I saw in Zero Hedge that apparently there's a huge sale of futures in a matter of minutes. So yeah, there is a trend line in gold that comes around 1280. So we could still go further down. We've broken 1302, but I'm not concerned. My money is still where my mouth is. This is like a interesting coin. This is a Saudi gold coin. This is an American one. There's another one here, Italian from the 19th century. I've even got Tunisian from 1902, and a French one from like the 19th century. So money used to be gold everywhere. It doesn't matter what country. So let's see some questions. Johnny Generic, howdy from Texas. Hi, Johnny. El Tomo just bought me a 20 franc gold Tunisia coin 5 minutes ago. Always good to buy. That's funny you say that, El Tomo, because I've got one of those right here, 20 franc Tunisian coin from 1901. What a coincidence. And I've also got my silver, of course. I got some of my coins here, the quarters, silver quarters, half dollars, and also a few of these little gold silver bars, 1 ounce. I just wanted to show you that I'm not selling. The markets are not going down because of me. They're going down because of central banks are selling paper. Buying silver below 16. Well, I think, let's see where we're now. Silver, the low was 1620 today, so still holding comfortably above 16. The Dow right now is down 250, so down 1%. The S&P is down 26, 1%. NASDAQ is down 1.5%. And the dollar, of course, is stronger today. But let's see. Sammy Hay from Sweden also. Hi. What would be a good price to buy gold at? Well, I think you just need to buy regularly and whenever you can, and not worry about the price. So dollar cost averaging. I guess today would be better than yesterday. That's for sure. Joko Hughes, nice stack. What's your address? Yeah, funny. It's not much, Joko. Pieces of Jade. Hi, Mario. Crypto falling shares on way down, even with consensus convention going on. Scary for crypto. Yeah, I'm not concerned about cryptos either. I do have cryptocurrencies, but they're very volatile. They're down today. They could be up tomorrow. Longer term, I think the blockchain is still here to stay. Luke Hammond, at its current rate, it'll invert in August. You're talking about the curve there, Luke, I guess. I'm not sure if we're going to even invert because the longer end is like actually it's steepening today. The 10-year and the 30-year are going up quicker than the shorter end. Ricardo Suarez, hi Maneko, hi Ricardo. Wujo Mao. Some people say that if this turns into a financial crisis, then we may first face deflation and then hyperinflation. Well, or in between. I personally, maybe we're going to get stagflation like in the 70s. And I think it could be even worse than in the 70s because there's so much debt now. And all the economies now, especially in the West, they are dependent on consumer credit. I think consumer credit is almost 70% of the US economy. And if interest rates and the cost of borrowing goes up, everything is going to go up. So it's going to be a vicious circle. So there are people two scenarios, you look at Bill Gross. I just read something he said today that he thinks that the high yields in the 10-year here, they won't go any further because the economy is too weak, will weaken if it goes further up. So he thinks we're near the top in the bond yields. Then you have Jamie Dimon the other day from JP Morgan, the CEO. And I don't give him much credibility, but this is what he said. He said even a 4% 10-year yield won't affect the economy, and it's a good sign. I personally think they're both wrong. I think Bill Gross could be wrong because we're going to get, I think, stagflation like in the 70s. In the 70s, a lot of the Keynesian economists, they were like puzzled because you had you had high unemployment, you had a slowdown in the economy, but inflation and interest rates kept going up. They couldn't understand it. And I think it's the same thing today. We've had decreasing interest rates since 1981. And every time since then, when the economy slows down, interest rates come off, the economy picks up. I think now it's going to go the other way around. It's going to go from like in the late 60s, 1970s, where interest rates keep going up. The dollar keeps going down. Bonds keep going down. Gold and silver will do well. Commodities will do well. I know the dollar is strong today, but I don't think it's going to last for that much longer. So let's see here. FG Bogsat. Naked short selling of paper, gold, and silver should be illegal. There is no true price discovery. Well, not only for gold and silver, FT Bogsat, also for all other instruments. Even bonds are heavily traded in the futures market. I used to be a futures broker for bonds. I agree with that. When do you see the real estate collapse too in the US? Difficult to say, but we are closer. If interest rates keep going up, all mortgages are priced off the 10-year yield. So you can bet that next week mortgage rates will go up. Chemistry Mayo market has 1 hour for the plunge protection team, aka Fed, to bring the rate back down. We'll see. I don't know. T-bomb. Is that like what the T-bonds are going to do? T-bomb. Things are rough where I'm at. This is not looking good. I see people not spending. Gas is going up at a bad time. Why did gold go down against the US dollar in 2008? Well, gold had made an all-time high in March 2008 at 1,031. That was the day that Bear Stearns had to be taken over by JP Morgan. And then during the Lehman crisis in September, there was a rush out of risky assets, out of currencies into the dollar, and the gold got hit. It went from down to 682, but by the end of 2009, it was already making new highs. So it was a very quick, sharp move. This time, even if we have a stock market crash, I don't see gold doing as badly as it did, dropping 30% like it did in 2008, mostly because it hasn't really gone up that much in the last few years. But in 2008, it had gone up 400% since 2002. Timmy Chonga, Monaco, what if governments stuff all debts into crypto? Well, I'm not sure how they could stuff it into the blockchain, but if they stuff it into crypto, I don't know how can they do. They'd have to buy the cryptos, I guess. The price of cryptos would probably go up a lot more. Michael Holiday, S&P BC of liquidation and margin calls. Rickard says all the gold is there. You believe him? Ricardo Suarez, you mean in Fort Knox? No, I don't believe him. I think Jim Rickards he talks a lot of sense, but I've heard him say that the reason they haven't done an audit of the gold in Fort Knox, his excuse is that they don't have to do it. And if they did it, it would show that gold, that they're giving gold too much importance. I don't buy that. Tom Maloney, gold day. Tom Manley, gold day. Oh, no, well, it's a good day to buy gold, yeah. What do you think about Cliff High's opinion that cryptos will build new system? Max 77 XX. Well, I think it's already, it's going to build, I think it's more the blockchain. I'm not sure. And yeah, it could be a competing currency. You never know what we're going to get. I would like to see competing currencies, private money, maybe government money backed by gold, cryptocurrencies, and I think the private money would win. Nice Scottsdale ounces for 1305 today. Rig markets, 30-year fixed rate 4.6. Yeah, I mean, I would fix, more if you're going to borrow for a mortgage, I would be fixing it right now. Uh, Love that 10-year. No, no. Vukti Hansen, how many are prepared? Do you think? Very few, Vukti, because we've been, the public buys a lot of the mainstream stuff, and they don't understand how bad things really are. Let's see, Mr. User. Good evening, Monaco from Cologne, Germany. Guten Abend, Mr. User from Deutschland. Luke Hammond, moin moin. Michael Holiday, gold won't crash because the bubble is on the state level and currency level. Well, gold will always have value. It will always protect you. It has done so for thousands of years. I mean, when you dig, if you find gold in the ground and it's from 500 years ago, it's still valuable. SNDPDG Snip DJ1, is silver worth buying with 20% VAT in the UK? Yeah, I bought silver in 2002. I wasn't happy about the VAT, but a few years later, it didn't even matter. So if you're positive about silver, go ahead. And I think there are ways to buy silver without VAT in the UK. Just Google buying silver without VAT, and you probably find out. Wasim Hassim, thoughts on Switzerland Vogelgeld? Yeah, my video today, I talked about that. And it's probably won't go through, but the fact that they're having this referendum, it helps probably bring to light the subject of the banking system and the fraudulent system we have now of fractional reserve. I mean, it is fraudulent. It's like you and me being able to lend money to someone, even though we don't have any money, and we just write, "I'll lend you £1,000," and it's good. I think I just saw Yvonne Nutter. Hello, everyone. Hello, Yvonne. How are you? Nice to see you here. Ton Manley, gold backing is the key to it all. I agree. I made a video last week about Warren Buffett's dad, Howard Buffett. He was a congressman from Nebraska, and in 1948, he wrote an article how redeemable money for gold is the key to freedom and small government. I would rather have, I don't mind government. We need government, small government, to administer the rule of law, but we can't have government cheats. So yeah, I think gold backing is important, and I think they should get rid of fractional reserve banking. Lynette Zhang showed fixed rates have a banker's backdoor in fine print. I guess so. Yeah, probably. So do you mean that even if you fix your mortgage, they'll find a way to screw you, maybe? Ricardo Suarez, too many YouTubers switch to pumping crypto. You agree? Hi, Ricardo. Yeah, I mean, I look at cryptos as well. I think it's a good speculation. But as I've said before, the biggest proportion of my liquid assets are in gold, silver, and the mining sector. But I think it's up to the individual. You need to understand what you're doing, though. That's what I say. Yeah, and I don't even try to pump anything. I don't try to pump gold and silver. I just try to be honest and tell people what I think, and not selling anything really. S. Walker, gold pushed down by selling of paper gold. I agree. Let's see where we are right now, where the markets are. While gold is making just a new low here, 1289, 1288.65. Silver is still holding above the low, 1625. The low is 1620. The Dow is still down about 1%. And we still got about an hour and 40 minutes to the close of the stock market. Let's see where the bond yield is. 309. Wow, the 10-year is really moving up here. The bond price is actually dropping, of course. This is bad news for the markets. Let's see. Uncle Deadly, VAT-free silver, go free silver, silver2go.com. All right, there you go. Someone is asking about silver in the UK. Rob Abreu, crypto's the ultimate fiat currency. Some of them are, but actually some cryptocurrencies or tokens actually have a utility with the blockchain. They are actually applications on the internet. So I think they have value, the ones that have applications. Jason McGuire, 700 billion Canadian home renewals due this summer. Good luck with that. Yeah, that's right. Interest rates here in the UK are still fairly subdued, but it will be difficult for European rates to stay as low as they are if the US rates continue to go up. Universal Vibes TV, greetings, Monaco. Do you think the system will implode by or before September 2018? You know, Universal Vibes TV, I've been waiting. You know, the system was going to implode in 2008, and then they pulled the rabbit out of the hat, and they saved the system. I don't know if it's going to implode. Maybe they can keep it going, like how do you say it? Like in Japan, you know. But it's not going to be pretty. It would be good if it imploded. I think we need an implosion. We need, you know, like the Austrian school or Schumpeter said, creative destruction is good, but that happens in a free market. And right now we don't have free markets. But let's hope it does, actually. And I'm not saying that because I want people to suffer. It's just, even though people will suffer, I think they're suffering already. And it would be good for the future if we could start on a clean slate. S Walker, prices are going up in the shops in the UK. Yeah, I agree. You know, my wife and I, we noticed that. Yeah, and house prices are still quite high. The other thing in the UK, and you probably get that in other countries, we got shrinkflation. The packaging keeps shrinking, and the prices stay the same. So you're getting less for the same money. Juru84, hi Mara, do you know flowing money? I think for the society it's the best money. And I never heard of the concept of flowing money, but what I know is that money is supposed to be a utility to help people in a free market society indirectly exchange goods, and to be able to also save and invest with that. That's what it's supposed to be, but we don't have that nowadays. David L, are you holding any UVXY, TVIX during these times? No, I have traded those. They're ETNs, I think, aren't they, on the VIX? And I don't want to get involved in that because they're actually they're issued by the banks, and if something really bad happens and you're supposed to win big, you could end up not. They could end up not paying you. DD8209 Monaco 64. Could you see the PTB powers that be using crypto to alleviate the excess liquidity that was formed by the central banks around the world and distract people from gold and silver rise? Well, that's happening already. I would say if there wasn't cryptocurrencies, that probably gold and silver would be doing better. Does that mean that I still don't believe in gold and silver? No, I still believe in gold and silver. Then lose more. Will silver bars and ingots protect my wealth the same as silver coins? Yeah, they will. Silver coins are better for bartering if there's a real big crisis, and the bars and ingots probably better for saving. Marcus Yago, what do you think about a silver LTC exchange? without ever interacting with the fiat system. Uh, yeah, I mean, that's interesting, but in the end of the day, at the moment, if you do want to spend your silver or your Litecoin, you will have to transform it into fiat. But there are people who accept, uh, Litecoin and silver. So yeah, that's possible. Why not? It's just an exchange rate, silver versus Litecoin. Hugo Javara, the NSA has patents for crypto. Yeah, I'm not too sure, Hugo. If I would say a lot of, yeah, we don't really know if that's true. That they're behind the cryptos. I'm not so sure. Michael Holiday, Monaco 64, bullion or numismatics? I have mostly bullion. I have a bit of numismatics. I would stick to the bullion if you're looking to invest. They're more liquid. Bullion is more liquid, and you know the price. Numismatics, you might get ripped off by the dealer, and then when you try to sell it, you get ripped off. So I would stick to bullion personally, even though I do have some numismatics coins. Um, Chris Rowland, I know you invest in physical gold and silver, but do you invest in the companies too? At the moment, I do have three holdings. One is in my excuse me, my SIP, which is like a pension, and the other one is my ISA. But not, yeah, that's what I have right now. Some silver explorers, yeah, silver and gold exploring companies. I won't really mention the name though. Let's see. One world order. Do you think cryptos will suck all the hyperinflation out of the system when the implosion begins? Well, I would argue they're already sucking the hyperinflation, but so will hard assets, silver, gold, commodities. Even stocks will suck could suck the hyperinflation out. If we get the hyperinflation, we could get stagflation. Best website. When will the asteroid hit and wipe out mankind? Well, I don't follow astrology. Best website. Tom Manley, 2008 cryptos were born. Let's see. T-bomb, more anecdotal evidence of rising prices. He says prices in Illinois are getting ridiculous. No more free refills on soda at certain restaurants like Rock Bottom, and it's $3. Restaurants are getting creative to gouge customers. Yeah, T-bomb. The inflation already happens. When we hear the mainstream media and mainstream economists say that inflation's rising, it's wrong. The inflation happened already in the last 10 years. All the money printing, all the low interest rates, and what we're getting now is the consequence, which is the rising prices. Marcus Yago, thanks for the response. Long-time viewer, a golfer as well. Hey, Marcus, you're welcome. Yeah, I played this afternoon, and it was a nice day. I played quite well, not too bad. Uh, Housing market will crash with the rates moving higher. They could, even though I don't think the American public is as leveraged as they were, maybe on the lead up to 2008. In the UK, they are, but rates in the UK are still quite controlled. Uh, Electroscalar background. Chickens have more calcium in eggs than they consume. Some people are here just to make silly comments, so I won't even try to ignore these. Tom Manley, gold and silver will be fiat sponges with the banks when the banks need the dollars for the reset. I agree, Tom. SNPD DJ I won. Any ideas on why silver has been moving inversely to gold the past year? Well, I think it's because all the other commodities, the industrial commodities and agriculturals, have been quite, how can I say, depressed, and silver is probably following them a bit more, and gold is more of a monetary metal. And I think the foreign central banks are still buying a lot of gold, especially the Eastern central banks. Zelot Patriot, how's Billy doing? He's doing well. He's asleep. He went for a walk this morning already, earlier today. Shane Sturgis, hi. I usually buy sovereigns, but I do like the 1 ounce Queen's Beast. Shame they changed the design after the first 3 coins. Yeah, in the UK, as long as you buy coins that have the Queen on it, which is a coin of the realm, there's no capital gains tax on it, so that's okay as well. New Zealand. Sorry I'm late, sir. New Zealand Gold. Don't worry, New Zealand Gold. I've only been here for 30 minutes and we'll keep going. Mr. User, Monaco, what are the chances that the Fed can manipulate the bond rates lower again? Well, the thing is that now they said they're going to start selling their bonds from October or September, I think. So it's going to be very hard for them to come out and say, oh, we're going to stop doing the quantitative tightening and we're actually going to start doing quantitative easing again. They're going to lose all credibility. I think they can't change course. They won't do it. Let's see here. Kevin Vander Weer. There was a pre-market paper gold silver dump of more than 1.5 billion. Yeah, it was just after the COMEX open or just thereabouts. COMEX regular hour open is at 8:20 a.m. New York, and I noticed that gold started going down right after that. There was a retail sales data at 8:30. The bond market dumped, and then they came after gold and silver right at the same time that bonds dumped. I think what they wanted, the powers that be, what they want people to think is that there's nothing wrong in terms of inflation, that the bond market is going to go back up and yields are going to go back down, but they need for gold and silver to be kept down, because if gold and silver goes up and it confirms it, and I don't think they'll be able to keep this game going for too much longer. So I'm still, because we're going to get stagflation and there's no way they can stop it. Chris and Mara, can you please have a look at some point at what Glenn discovered in, seems like a prediction time of the crash. So who's Glenn, Chris, if you can tell me that. Luda Crypt, gold is going lower, our houses. Zalatiki, that's a good question. Should gold go higher with higher yields? Yes. In the 1970s, yields went like from the 60s, from 6% in the 10-year all the way to 16% in 1980 or 81, and gold went from $35 an ounce to $887 an ounce. Yeah, so higher yields don't, and I think the Fed is behind the curve. The market's behind the curve. I think the cost of living and inflation is much higher than the 3% that we're told that that the 10-year yield is at. Well, yeah, so definitely the biggest, the bull market of the 70s was when you had the biggest bear market in bonds, and you had stagflation. And I think we're at the beginning of that again. Tom Manley, thanks for the live show, Mary. It's been great. Enjoy your videos and your honest opinion. Those are rare things to have today. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. Just try to give, if I try to talk to you guys and talk about the markets, how I used to talk to my clients. I didn't try to bullshit. my clients. Excuse my French. FGT Bogsat, more gold smackdown tonight. Maybe. Let's have a look and see where the markets are at the moment. So gold is rebounded a little bit from the lows. The low's been 1288.50. It's now 1292. The Dow is down 0.75%. So it looks like they're trying to keep the stock market from dropping more than 1%, but we still have an hour and a half to go. What about the 10-year yield? Yeah, that's still not good. Up 9 basis points. That's a big move. I worked in the bond markets for over 20 years. A nine basis points move in a day is big. So we got 268 viewers. That's great. I think people are enjoying these live streams. I enjoy them as well. Bo Bazan, do you sell silver all at once if it doubles or little by little as it goes up? Bo Bazan, I would only sell silver if I needed the money. So, but of course, if it spiked, let's say by next month it goes from where we are now to $100, which probably won't happen. But if it did, yeah, maybe sell like a third of it or a half of it. You know, so if you sell a third or a half, you've got the money that you put in, and you've got the rest there in gold, in silver. Kevin Vanderweer, yeah, I think you mean the yield curve. You keep saying it will invert, maybe, but looking at the curve today, for example, the 2-year went up 3 basis points. The 10-year right now is up 9. So it's actually steepening. But you could be right. It has flattened a lot in the last year. But it could invert. It could be a bearish inverting. You could see the 2-year go up and the 10-year go up as well. But the 2-year go up more than the 10. The Delta report. Hi, Mario, and big hi to Billy, too. Hey, Delta report. Hey, Billy, he's saying hi to you. Oh, he's asleep. Michael Holiday, nice. I picked up a big Theta coin. Yeah, I have some Theta coin as well. I think, yeah, Theta is basically, they want to, is a cryptocurrency, by the way. Theta, they're trying to be like the, how can I say, Airbnb or the Uber for streaming. So that's what they're trying to do. I think it's an interesting project. Let's see. Kevin Vanderweer, if the ratio goes below 40, trade your silver for gold. I believe 2020 gold at 10,000 an ounce. Yeah, I mean, I saw a really good video a few weeks ago. Someone talking about the gold silver ratio, and the mean ratio in the last 50 years is being 56. So yeah, if it goes to 40, that could be a good trade, Kevin. Zalataki, why gold price is not improving with new yields? Well, they actually have. I would argue they have over the long term. Today is just like a noise because the 10-year yield bottomed in July of 2016 at 136, and we're now at 309. And gold bottomed in December 2015 at 1,045, and we're now almost 13, just below 1,300. So yeah, longer term yields are going up and gold's going up. This is just like a one-off thing. I wouldn't be concerned about it. V. Bjorn Gritson, hi Mario. How quick do you think gold will move if it begins the move to new highs? For example, can it go from 1,300 to 15 in a 1,500 in 1 hour? I think if we break, for example, 1375, which is the high from 2006, you could see it easily go to 1450 in the same day, but not from 1300 to 1500 in an hour. But you never know. Timmy Chonga. Hello, Glenn. Nice to see you. What else? Ma77XX. Bix Weir says Deutsche Bank will fail, but will be bailed out. Probably. Tom Manley, gold is building a mountain of base support, in my honest opinion. Yeah, Tom, that's the other thing. Looking at the gold and silver chart, we can clearly see that 2011 was a top. But now we're not at a top. I agree with you. We are at a bottom. So yeah. Ricardo Suarez, how do we know when to sell our silver stocks when the bull market is in full force? Wait till they back dollar or what? Well, the mining shares sometimes don't move in sync with the metals, with the spot gold or silver. Like in 1980, gold and silver topped in January of 1980, and I think the mining stocks kept going up for the next 1 or 2 years. I mean, you need to decide where you want to take your profit, where you think, you have to have a price objective. A lot of people don't, and sometimes I don't either. But that's one thing that a guy I worked with when I started out in Switzerland, working for a small fund manager or a private bank. The dealer, for the guy who dealt in the markets for the managers and my bosses, and I started in the back office. He used to say, because we used to do trading games and stuff, he always used to say, you need to have an objective where you're going to get out. It's just as important as getting, losing money, not too much money, is being able to say, I'm going to get out now and take my profit. Chris M. Bix Weir calculated silver to go to $10,000 to $100,000 per ounce. Well, that's just a bit, I don't know. I'd like to see it go to 20 first, or 21. S. Walker, gold should be 3,000. I agree, it should be, and so silver should be over 50, near 100. Timmy Chonga, Maneko, do you think that the euro or the US dollar topples first? I think probably the euro first and then the dollar. Can we please, Tom Manning, can we please waterboard Hillary Clinton? Michael Hollis, sell when you can buy a medium-priced home for 500 ounces. Do you mean 500 ounces of silver? I assume, yeah. TM Stats. Hi, Mario. Your thoughts on if purchasing power will rise significantly as gold breaks out and crash, or will it just do its job and hold value? I think gold and silver have been suppressed, and they will. I think. What I think they'll do is they'll more than hold their value, yeah, and I think they will increase their purchasing power as well, because I think their purchasing power is too low right now. And even if they go down in nominal terms, in relative terms, it will go up. So let's say if there's a complete implosion and gold stays at 1,300 where we're now, it's still a good thing, because everything else will have gone down so much. T. Hamilton, thoughts on a deflationary period prior to the bull market in precious metals, such as in 2008. Jim Rogers is also a proponent of this. All those paper contracts being sold will distort the true market. Well, the deflationary period, that was in the in the markets, financial markets, and it was very short. Gold dipped very quickly to 682, and I remember I was in the markets that time, working in the city, and it was something that happened in a day, and it just rebounded very quickly. Right now, I think they're not going to allow deflationary collapse of the markets. I think we're going to get it seems like we're getting stagflation. So it's difficult. There's people have all different opinions, and but it seems to me that we could get stagflation. Angelica, is buying power most important in evaluating gold? If bread is 1,000 per loaf and gold is 10,000 per ounce, at least you eat. Yeah, the other ratio to watch for, uh, when is it time to get out of gold and silver or hard assets and go back into financial assets, is the Dow gold ratio. Historically, when gold is topped and the stock market is bottom, that rate has been around 1. I think right now, um, I think in 2000 it topped around 46. I'm not sure where we're now. We're probably around almost 20, but still below that 46. Vbjorn Gritton, what's your take on Erdogan taking more control of their central bank? Yeah, I saw that headline today that the Turkish president is going to take control of monetary policy. Well, they used to do that here in the UK until the mid 90s. It was the chancellor of the exchequer who decided the interest rate, not the Bank of England. Maybe that is it any worse than having the bankers decide the rates? But I think the market should decide the rates. So I I don't think in the context of the system we have right now, it's that bad because we already have a few guys, or girls, 12 people deciding rates. So why not the president and his advisors? Judith Kernahan, in hyperinflation, will housing drop dramatically? Well, I think what will happen, Judith, is that there will be no price for houses. No one will have the money, and no one will be able to get any credit to buy houses. So there won't be any transactions. So it won't matter. That's the way I think. Um, Looking at history and reading about the Weimar Republic, they're just the market will be dead. Luis Cuevas, Monaco, people think silver is a get rich quick type of asset, but if the market falls and silver is a hedge for the market falling, we see big moves in silver. Are they in the right mindset? Well, a lot of people do think precious metals are get rich quick type of asset. And sometimes, it all depends on timing. I look at it more as protection against inflation and protecting your wealth against, you know, currency debasement. Yeah, if you buy it, let's say you buy it today at 1,300, you've never bought it before, and then it suddenly starts going up, and we're at 1,500 in a month's time. He's done great. He's gotten richer fairly quickly, but for for us who've been holding for a long time, it's just a big another move. For this guy who bought it today, he might get out, and then it goes to 3,000, and he'll be sorry he got out. So it all depends. Ton Manley, if you don't own it, you don't own it. If you don't hold it, you don't own it, I would say. Um, Tom Manley, wealth insurance, that's right, precious metals. Dan Man, do you think 1,000 is good amount of silver to last through a depression? Well, it depends on what kind of lifestyle you have. 1,000 ounces, yeah, that's a good amount, and how long the depression is as well. Ter Rabidu, Hyman Echo 64, hi Ter. Epper 1875, what happens to property that has a note when the markets crash if there are no buyers or loans? Will banks take back the house and let them sit again like happened in 2008? That's what bankers try to do. They I think J Snip 4, his story is that he was able to walk away from his house. He proved that I think the bank actually didn't own the mortgage, but that's I think the bankers will always try to have their cake. Patrick J. Hi, Mario. For me, gold, silver, bullion holdings are part of a balanced portfolio. That's right. Uh, yeah, I personally prefer to have more gold and silver than a balance, but yeah, I mean, it's a good thing having a balanced portfolio. T. Hamilton, which brokerages do you consider the safest to invest with? I'm scared to invest through any non-SIFI intertwined brokerage houses for precious metals, agri shares. Uh, the thing to test with brokerages, and I assume, do you mean like stock brokers and futures brokers, is to see who they bank with. Because these, yeah, like you said, with the big banks. But yeah, brokerages are a third party. You could do a trade with your broker and do really well, and then close your position, have the money in the with the brokerage, and then all of a sudden they don't send you the money. So yeah, it's never guaranteed, T. Hamilton. So it's the counterparty risk. I mean, 20 years ago, that didn't seem to be much of a problem, but in the last 10, 15 years, it's been much more of a problem. John Roberts, what's up with bonds? Well, yeah, bonds are dropping quite a bit today. The 10-year yield got up to 309. Right now it's 308. And it's the highest yield we've had since the beginning of 2004. So almost 4.5 year highs in yields. And I think the bond bull market, or the ever decreasing rates that has fueled the credit bubble that we've had since 1980, that's over. But it's turning slowly. I think yields bottomed in 2006. Now they're going back up. First, last, I think cryptos have to be future. Everyone in the world cannot trade physical metal. Banks will pretend they have more gold than they do again. I think it's all a matter of balance. I think there's room for cryptos, for precious metals. Precious metals have been around for thousands of years, and I don't think they're going to go away anytime soon. Um, let's see here. Tony, do you think it's going to invert the yield curve? Um, well, it could. Today, it's actually steepening, um, but I think it's going to steepen further. And why do I say that? Well, because I think that's what the bankers want. I saw Jamie Dimon speaking, JP Morgan CEO, last week, and he seemed to be giving a green light for higher 10-year yields to 4%. And he doesn't think the Fed is going to raise as much. So the curve's going to probably stay quite steep, but it's going to be bearish steepening, higher rates. And why will it be okay? Why will it be okay for the bankers? Because they can borrow short-term rates, let's say 2-year at 3%, and lend 10 years at 4, and they'll make the 1%. Um, Dan Man, is keeping your gold with gold money a safe way to hold your metals? I think so. I wouldn't keep all of it with them, but I trust James Turk. The only problem I have is that he sold the firm to other people. So he doesn't own it. He's involved, but he doesn't own it. I trust James Turk, but that's my view. Bjorn Gritton, do you know why many say that we need to watch the 10-year yields? It's 325, then the market will have a big problem. I think it's more the 3% where we're now, Bjorn, because the last top in 2004 was just around here. It was 3 to 303. We're already at 308. The other thing is as well is that since 1981, if you look at the yield chart, we've made lower highs and lower lows in the yields all the way down. And this break above 3%, which is definite now, this we're at 308, is negates all this lower lows and lower highs in yields, because the last big high was 3% in 2004. We had a low in 2006, sorry, 2014. I'm sorry, 2014, the 3%. And then we had a low in 2016 at 136. And now in 2008, we're at 408. So that's how I see it. Anonymous, don't American banks insure up to 250,000 US dollar per bank? Do you mean the FDIC? They insure each depositor up to 250,000? Maybe, but if there's a crisis, the FDIC has a fraction of all the insured deposits. Mark Colley, why is my bonds being going down for the last 5 months? Yeah, Mark, because interest rates are going up, right? So when interest rates go up, yields go up, the price of bonds go down. It's inversely related. We're in a bear market in bonds, so that's why it's going down. Angelica, this equity sell-off is amazingly controlled. Yeah, I've noticed as well. It looks like they're trying to keep it from going down more than 1%. Let's see where we are right now. Yeah, we're down 0.86% in the Dow and 0.8 in the S&P. So it is controlled. So yeah, I'm going to wind down this live stream. I've been on for 57 minutes. I think we covered a lot of ground, and I think we've had almost 300 people viewing. Right now we've got 208, 89. Yeah, and I really enjoy this, and thanks for showing up and asking the questions, and hopefully we'll be seeing each other again soon for a live stream. Of course, I'm going to keep doing my videos, and I'd like to thank everyone who's donated to the channel as well. I keep getting censored by YouTube, but the live streams are great because I seem to get the green light for them. And so enjoy the rest of the day, and let's keep an eye on those markets, on the 10-year yield especially. And take care, everyone. Bye-bye.